So what do we do about it? Let's get into some prescriptions here. The first thing is you have to understand what your priorities are. I believe very much in priority-driven lives. Now, one of the priorities in life is work and have money and eat, right? I mean, those are very important priorities, and we all want that at a certain level in our lives. But there are other priorities too. There are relational priorities that we have to take care of. There are spiritual priorities, at least for me, are very high up there. People say, well, how do I determine what these priorities are? I personally think you don't determine them, I think you discover them. I think they're out there, and they're pretty well written already, and we discover those, but you have to sign on to it. And people say, well, I don't know, I'm so busy. I mean, how can I afford to even think about priority living? Well, go to your deathbed. I mean, you know, just figuratively right now, go to your deathbed. As a physician, I've been in the room lots of times when patients have died. That doesn't make me a bad doctor. I mean, it's just I'm a doctor. If you laugh at me, I'll be in your room when you die too. But being at the bedside when the patient is passing is a very holy moment. Now, if you're on your deathbed and you have cognition, if you have the ability to understand and to communicate and to think about where you're at and what is happening here and what's going on around you, I can tell you some of the things we live for right now will completely disappear. They will be of no importance whatsoever. Not to say that, you know, I mean, I'm a Cubs fan, okay? I mean, 104 years of long suffering. We just rolled over the odometer, you know, for another 100 years, another century. I mean, we just have not won a World Series. Now, it's fine for me to watch the Cubs, but is that some kind of eternal priority? No, I mean, it's a total waste of time. So Hector actually is one who taught me about, he said, dying teaches us more about living than living does. And so if you think about laying there for a little while and thinking about your life and what would you want your life to say from your deathbed, and then come back here and live out your life. The World Trade Towers, for example, I mean, we all remember what happened when you know, at 8:30, people were just organizing their desks up on their 103rd floor, say, Cantor Fitzgerald. They did $50 trillion of bond trading. And so they're ordering their desks and pouring coffee and looking at their neighbor, looking out the Hudson River. And then the North Tower was hit at 8:46 a.m. And everything changed. I mean, 15 minutes later, everything changed. It didn't collapse, though, for an hour and 42 minutes. Now, the first half hour, they're trying to get out, right? I mean, you saw what happened, and there's flames coming up, and there's smoke, and smoke. You're trying to get out. So you're going for the exits and trying to get down, but you're way up there, and the plane went through 20 floors below you. Then you figure out you're not getting out. What's important now? That's what I want to know from these people. What is important? What are they thinking about now? Do you think they're calling their insurance agent to find out what their coverage is, or canceling their hair appointment, or worried about the car because the left rear tire is a little low, or something like that? They're thinking about people. They're thinking about people that they love, about people that they want to talk to. They're looking for a cell phone that works, and they're thinking some eternal thoughts about God too, most of them probably. This to me is the kind of thing that I want to go there. Some people think it's morbid thinking. I don't think it's morbid at all. They are my instructors. These people are my instructors, my patients as well. Goethe, the German philosopher, says things that matter most must never be at the mercy of things that matter least. And sometimes that defines my life. I mean, you know, sometimes I think, what are you thinking? What are you doing? Right? And get back on track. I was speaking to a men's group out in Montana. These are tough guys. I mean, it was in Billings, and they're, you know, I mean, that's a tough state. I love Montana. And then I was there 3 days, and the last morning, some guys would get up, and they were just talking about the weekend and some of the things that they had learned. And one guy, he was obviously, I don't know him, but he was obviously kind of successful. He carried himself that way, and they're all dressed Western. You can't tell anything from that, but he got up and he was talking, he was well-spoken, and then his chin started quivering. He says, I got some work to do when I get home. He says, I don't want to spend my last week on earth apologizing for my life. And man, even I just sucked in the air. I mean, I just said, wow, neither do I. People, you know, I want to live in such a way that I don't hide behind overload on the last week of my life.